me. It's been 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks since I uploaded a new episode, and yo, I needed a second to regather. I had to take a break. I took a break from all social media. Actually, I needed to regather. I needed to regroup. Something was kind of off. I couldn't really put my finger on what it was, but I knew I just needed to kind of like take time for myself. I really couldn't like deliver the way that I wanted to, so it is what it is. I was kind of afraid a little bit that I wasn't going to be able to get back to the get back because again, like, this went on for 2 weeks, but I'm here, I'm back. I'm blessed with this super beautiful day, and this is episode 16. I think this is episode 16 of It Was Written Project. It's part 2 of what was the 21 days of fasting. I retitled it the Fasting Chronicles, so hopefully you had a chance to check out episode 15. Yeah, I'm back like I never left. Let's go. Woo! Yo, so I'm not gonna lie, one of the things that really kind of had me in a funk was the weather, because if you've seen some of the previous episodes, you know that like it's been a struggle with like finding my flow in reference to recording space. And the best thing right now for me is to like get outside and take advantage when I can of the weather to record. The past 2 weeks has just been like, it's been rainy, it's been dull, like it's been trying to tell me it's gonna be 70 and sunny when the day comes. It's not that at all, and I'm like, dog, is you is or is you ain't? Because I'm gonna need you to get some act right. If you know anything about Michigan weather, you know that it'll switch up on you. It'll do you dirty in a heartbeat. So that was just one thing, on top of a couple of other things. And if you've ever been passionate about a thing, you want to give it your all. You want to really like deliver it, and I just wasn't in that space, I think, 2 weeks ago. And I actually have been in a position where like I've put out an episode that I wasn't really like crazy about, but again, that wanting to stay committed to the commitment, but this time was different. This time I was like, it's just not right. Like, the mood isn't right, the vibe ain't right. Like, it's just something that like it's not gonna hit the way that I want it to hit, and just wasn't feeling that. So I feel like I'm back to the get back today, and you got a very cool and like mellow Mac today, because I just had 2 mojitos with my cousin for some reason. I don't know why or how that just happened. So generally speaking, I'm cool and chill, but I'm like times 10 today. I'm cool as the island wind today. So yo, welcome to episode 16. So do me a huge favor, guys, go ahead and subscribe if you aren't already. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when a new episode is uploaded. If you didn't get a chance to check out part 1, it is available for your viewing pleasure. And I actually retitled that episode too. I retitled that The Fundamentals of Fasting, because originally I didn't know that this was going to be a series. I hope you can hear me. The wind is giving me life right now. Originally I didn't know that it was going to be a series. I thought that it was going to be like all one thing, but no, it isn't, as it turns out. So take a look at that if you're interested. Again, these are the Fasting Chronicles. So obviously I'm talking about fasting in some respect in each episode, but you don't necessarily have to see that episode in order to like get the most out of this one. Each episode is completely different, so you can watch the series as a whole, but each episode stands, alone as well. And while I'm here, let me just say this. Every episode of It Was Written a Project is not going to be for everyone. I have to put that out there. I feel like that goes without saying, but I just have to say that, this series, if you have no interest in fasting, the benefits of fasting, if you've never struggled with fasting, if you don't care, to gain insight or a different perspective on your journey with hearing from God, receiving clarity, last week's episode or the episode prior, it may not be for you. This series may or may not be for you. Again, each episode is not going to individually speak to, touch, resonate with every single person. And it just, it just is what it is. But I always invite an open mind, positive vibes. And if you're here for that, then I got you. Don't write "it was written" the project off. Maybe the episode just wasn't for you. I just felt the need to put that out there. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this episode. Woo. So my experience with fasting, once I made the mistakes and tried again and got it right, or not necessarily got it right, but rather I kept leveling up, you know what I mean? It's one of those situations that's like when you know. Fasting works, period. And while there's no one way to fast, in my opinion, there is a right and a wrong way, which is, not necessarily this written out step-by-step procedure, but rather a personal learning and growing experience or process. But today I am sharing a story about fast number 3, third time's a charm, right? This is the fast that I legitimately thought that I did everything right. I was very intentional with this fast, especially coming out of the last 2. I felt like I had learned so much, and I went into this really just feeling good about everything that I was doing and what I was fasting for, and what the expectation was coming out, and the aftermath of it all. Dog. Came out more confused than going in, came out in tears, and honestly really just questioning God, because I was really in a place of like vulnerability. Like, I think that was the first time that I was like, this embracing vulnerability like stood out to me, and I was really just honest about where I was and what I was in expectation for, what I needed help with, and my motives going in seemingly like just blew up in my face. So it backfired on me, seemingly, because I didn't know then what I know now, and I don't know now what I'll know later. You know what I mean? That's why exercising your faith is so important. That's why being present in the present is so important. Yeah. Anywho, but to get started with this episode, I have to go back to last year, actually, around this time. Trip to Jamaica. This is where this all starts. Early May 2019, a full year ago, and some change. Man, it's so crazy how so much can happen and how so much can change in just that short amount of time, in just a year. So May 2019, I went on a couple's trip to Jamaica. Whew. I'm in Jamaica and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm excited. It's my first time there, and I'm just looking forward to having a great time, which I do and which I am. But I am on this trip with my then boyfriend. Obviously, it's a couple's trip, and we are very close to a year, like in our dating process. And on the surface, everything is amazing. Like, I'm great, I'm perfect on the surface, but internally I'm a mess. I'm feeling so much pressure in this space that I'm in. There's just like mad pressure coming at me from like all these different angles, pretty much. I remember being alone on the beach. I had woken up early that morning specifically to go to the beach to pray and to meditate, and afterwards I sat on the beach to journal, and brought my journal here. Obviously, these were my thoughts. So I wrote this May 5th, 2019. I just want to read this first before I even get into what I'm about to say. I just wrote, Jamaica is so beautiful. I don't want to leave. I'm so happy, so blessed to be here. The whole experience has been super serene, super beautiful, calm, unproblematic. I had to put that in there because I was kind of like nervous about this couples thing. I was like, I don't know what this is about to give me. What's this about to be like? I've never been on a couples trip before, so I was like, and anybody who knows me know, like, I am the chillest person in the world. I just need a beach. I don't need no turn up. I just want to chill. So, but everybody on the trip was mad cool and unproblematic, and so that was a plus for me. The entire trip has been super chill. Again, just how I like it. So Jamaica was beautiful. I just wanted to say that. Okay, so down a little further reads. Yesterday I got up early, prayed and meditated on the beach, then had the best workout. Today I was up slightly, okay, so I lied. I was up later this day. Today I was up slightly later, got a prayer and a meditation going on the beach.
Had a solo breakfast. Now I'm here journaling. Blah, blah, blah. I debated on hitting the gym. Yeah. But I really just have to say this is such a blessing.
I'm sorry. I'm doing the most. Okay. I really just want to say this is such a blessing. I mostly just think about my future, my purpose, and what I'm supposed to be doing. The relationship with then boyfriend. I just really need to be doing more. I was tired of the job that I had. And right now I don't really have much to look forward to. And that's a huge problem. Something I've been dealing with for hella long. I have nothing right now. So this was like right around, I mentioned before about like when I got like really humbled to the ground, where it just seemed like everything was kind of like taken away from me. And this was kind of like the starting process, or like the realization process of like that. So I'm like, I have nothing right now. I've been left with only my faith. I sort of believe that's what God wanted for me. I just feel like this testimony, I'm about to cry. Okay, sorry. Got teary, man. Yo, alright. I just feel like this testimony is going to be so major. I need more for myself, more to bring to the table in this relationship, a platform to inspire. I want to be the, if I can do it, anyone can do it, girl. I gotta do it for everyone like me, for those starting over who can't see the light, for those who have lost hope. We all got this, and I gotta be the example. So yeah, man, that was written May 5th, 2019. What time was it? 8:27 p.m. Why did I think it was the daytime? I don't know. But yeah, that really brought tears to my eyes. I remember that day, man. I remember that so specifically. A lot is happening here. A lot is happening here. I'm honestly having an amazing trip. I'm on this beautiful beach. Just everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. I mean, I'm just, in my zone. Like, it's a whole vibe. Even like this, not sitting here recording myself at a park, but just like the solitude. Just being able to sit here, beautiful weather, to read, write. That's totally like, I'm just completely in my comfort zone right now. So to be able to have that experience like in Jamaica on a beach, just, I mean, you can imagine, you feel me on that. So I'm having this amazing trip, but there are two things that are just like heavily on my mind, heavily like on my heart and my spirit, and I just cannot shake it. Number one, I am lost. I'm so lost really in this relationship, and the way that I'm feeling, the questions that I have, it's more so kind of like a back and forth between me and God, because I felt like, or I still feel like he was the one who put me there. At the time I'm like, yo, you're the one who put me here. Why am I feeling this way right now? Like, why do I have to go through this? And the way that I was feeling, the questions that I had, it wasn't something that I felt like I could successfully talk to my boyfriend about, because he don't know nothing. You feel me? Like, he don't know nothing about nothing. And by that I just mean God knew what was up before any of this even came about, before any of this played out, because I literally went to him with all of my questions, all of my concerns, the things that I was nervous about, the things that I was struggling with before I said yes to this. So going to my boyfriend at the time, it just felt like, or I just felt like he wasn't the source. You know what I mean? Like, he don't have the answers to the questions that I have. And I knew that. You know, maybe if I just wanted to talk or release, sure. But I needed answers that he couldn't really give me. Before I got into this relationship, I knew that I was very much in this wilderness season. I didn't know, you know, like to what extent, but I knew that I was in a season. And when we crossed paths again, I think I mentioned this before, I knew him a couple of years prior to us dating. And when we crossed paths again, I was immediately like, no, ain't no, like, me and dating right now, this is going to be a disaster. It's no way that I had just moved back from New York. I know y'all tired of hearing about New York, but I had just moved back from New York, and my life was just it was a whirlwind. So in my mind, I was like, girl, you know better than to be out here talking about you about to date somebody with your world as crazy as it is. And it wasn't crazy like, crazy on the surface, if that makes any sense. Like, you couldn't see that I was like, my life was a whirlwind. I hit it well. Yeah, I mean, dog, mask on everywhere I go. Like, I don't walk around showcasing it. So it was a no for me, and also for that reason, because I knew that it meant showcasing a level of vulnerability that I just wasn't ready for. I wasn't gonna be able to hide it. I wasn't gonna be able to mask anymore this season that I was in, which really is just a season of like me trying to find my way, navigating through the wilderness, and it's not cute. It's not cute. It's frustrating. It can be embarrassing, especially when you're in a position of having to show up like in someone else's life, show up in just other ways that you really don't know how to, if I can be honest. And it bothered me. It bothered me so much because I think I had a really good idea of like what it looked like on a surface level, you know, like what it looked like from the outside looking in, and that perception was whack. Like, I don't want nobody to see me like that. Nevertheless, happened anyway. Literally, these tiny miniature text chats turned into, I mean, I don't even know why I'm talking like that. Like, this is not how life works. But turned into like, we hung out once, and then that one hangout turned into, it escalated quickly. That's all that I can say. Escalated quickly. And we began dating. And now I'm at this position where I'm developing such deep feelings for this guy, and I have this kind of like, I have this sense of like knowing, which does not happen to the kid. This sense of knowing that like I really desired an us between us. But I am in Jamaica on this beautiful beach and literally just torn up right now because I really don't feel like I'm deserving. Like, I don't feel like I deserve this or him at this point, because he's literally doing everything in this relationship. He's doing so much, he's done so much, and I don't even know what I bring to the table in this relationship. I really don't know what the hell I'm doing at all. Man, I'm just sitting here like, I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready for all of this. but I'm here, and where do I go from here? And also, how can I be so sure and so conflicted at the same time? It was crazy. I have to say this though, I look back at this story, and yeah, I mean, I definitely have more of an understanding of like why certain things had to happen, like why certain things were purposed, even though there are a few things that I still struggle with to this day. But at the time, yo, I was really feeling like this is actually kind of mean. Like this is kind of like a cruel thing to like, why would you? These are my conversations with God. Like, I'm just being real. I was like, like, what's up. Like, why you gonna bring me up just to let me fall like this? Like, that's cruel. So it was heavy. It was heavy on the beach that day. And not to mention the ego involved. And I'm not even a prideful person at all. But I am human. And I really wouldn't even call it pride. I wouldn't call it pride because I wasn't like walking around acting like I was something that I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I was always honest about what was. So it wasn't like, you found me out type thing. But there are certain things that I just would have rather kept to myself. There were certain things that I just didn't want the world to know, like the fact that I was still trying to find my way. I didn't have it all together. And again, in the beginning, I wasn't acting as if I did, but I definitely wasn't like broadcasting that I didn't. You know what I mean? But when we started dating, that mask had to come off. Like, whether I wanted it to or not, it was inevitable. That was hard for me. It was hard for me. You ever just want a person to see you the way they see you? Like I knew there was like a certain way from the beginning, like from back in the day. I knew that there was a certain way that he saw me, and I was just kind of like, yo, keep that image, because the season, this season that I was in, it didn't represent who I was at all. It just represented like what I was going through at the time. But like, if that's all like coming into, like, finally after all this time we start dating and this is how I'm coming into it, if that's all you ever see, then like, you like, dang, that's what it is. And you know how people are like, I don't usually do this. That's how I felt the entire time. Like, in my head, I felt like I'm not like, I'm not usually like this. I just really wish we could have reconnected before my life shifted the way it did, like when I had it going on, or even after the season. And I think that's honestly like where the ego comes in, because it's just like, you gonna put me out here like this after all this time? Like, you gonna have him see me like that's whack. Jesus, that's so whack. Ugh, still salty about that. Anyway, but outside of all of that, there's more. So there's that, and then there's this other thing that's like super heavy on my mind that day, and that is, I talk about this often, thoughts of purpose and God's will for me. Heavy on, just heavy, man. This is gonna sound crazy. I don't know, I feel like this is gonna sound weird to some people, and I almost don't want to say it because I think that people are gonna be like, girl, what? But so every now and again I will get these really random thoughts, I guess, just something super just out the blue that comes to me, that I'm just like, I don't know who, what, when, where, how, why, what does this even mean? But it'll just pop in my head, and it'll just be like so rooted. And one of those things being that I'm chosen. which again probably sounds silly, but there was just, and still is, if I'm gonna be honest, this strong feeling of I am made to be the example. Like I'm supposed to be the one to show people like me what's possible, like what God can do. Like I'm supposed to lead, the one to like give hope, because I'm just like you. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I got. I think that is why the testimony is so important. I think that's why It Was Written, the project, is so necessary, because a lot of people have to see it in order to believe it. You know what I mean? I don't know what's gonna come out on the other side of all of this. What I do know is that that feeling that I got was so rooted, it was so strong, that I didn't need all the details in order to obey. I didn't need the full picture painted for me in order to say, okay, I'll do it. But some people do. Somebody does, because when the transformation does happen, you're not even going to believe the transformation is even really a transformation till you go back and see where I started. You're going to think I showed up like this. You're not going to believe that it can be done for you, it can happen for you too, until you see yourself in my story. Like this seed, this you're chosen, that was planted in me so long ago. And it just kept growing. I didn't know what it meant, you know, who I'm supposed to inspire, who I'm supposed to lead, like, you know, like, who am I? So many questions. Who's gonna listen to this? Like, how am I supposed to do? And here I am. So that's that. But that was my day at the beach. Super heavy, super emotional, but I made it through. I made it through, and I still had a great trip. So I finally, well, not finally, because the trip wasn't that long, but upon returning home from Jamaica, I am still struggling. I'm still struggling with everything that I had just reflected on at the beach, everything that I was just praying about and meditation for, or meditating on rather. So on top of all of that, something crazy happens to me. I'ma read. I wasn't prepared. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Oh, I didn't turn right. Yo, I turned right to it. I'm impressed. Okay, so this is May 17, 2019. Where am I at? I have a lot going on. I'm telling you, my life, I ain't doing nothing but complaining right now. Anyway, okay, so I'm just gonna read it. So shit went down in Jamaica, and since I've been having ridiculous symptoms that I've never had before: lower back pain and abdominal pain, tiredness. My breast at one point was super tender, and I'm craving sweets. Never do I crave sweets. Think I'm pregnant. I think I'm pregnant. Yo, I think I'm pregnant, but it's far too early to tell. That's my first thought. It's far too early to tell. Not that I have a frame of reference. But like all these random symptoms at the same time, like if I'm not pregnant, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Over the next couple of days, as you can probably imagine, I am stressed, I'm anxious, and I'm nervous because I'm nervous. So I tell him, and he's actually very like chill about it. He kind of like calms me down and tells me not to stress out, that everything is gonna be fine. I don't know. I really don't think that he thought that I was pregnant, but he was being super supportive. I think initially he thought it could be, but I think he also was like, it's way too early to like tell. And I mean, I don't know if that's true or if that's not true. So, and he don't either. My body is doing some strange things though. Like, my body is doing some things I have never experienced before, and I don't like it. Like, I don't like it, and I'm scared. I don't know what the F is happening right now, but as it turns out, I'm not pregnant. I don't think. I know you're like, girl, what are you saying to me right now? I end up getting my period, and TMI, I think what did I write here? Yeah, so I never took a pregnancy test because I ended up getting my period, and again, something super strange. This is the most massive cycle I've ever had in my life. Like, massive. And I think I put period in quotations because I think that I am having an early miscarriage. Am I crazy? I don't know, and we'll never know. But every last symptom subsided after that. And it was after that I was dead bent on fasting. Forgot this was an episode about fasting, right? I knew that I needed to fast after that. Like, that situation had me shook. And not even because I thought that I was pregnant, but because it was after that I had kind of like gained, oh my God, it was like I gained an awareness of like what I truly desire, and I did not even know that I desired this so much. I never put a lot of focus, a lot of emphasis on partnership, on marriage, on being a mom, because what was in front of me just kind of like blinded me from all that. And what was in front of me was trying to find my way, trying to get back on my feet. I didn't have time to be thinking about all that. Like, how the hell was I supposed to do all that, and I didn't even have this taken care of? So I mean, honestly, it's no wonder I was feeling the way that I was feeling being in the relationship. Like, duh. You don't know what to bring to the table. Duh, you're like lost in all of it because you've never even put like emphasis on it. You've never focused on it. You've never even like attempted to date because you're so worried about. And let me retract, because I don't want to say that I never had thoughts of it, because I did, but I feel like they were always thoughts of like, that's a nice thought. You know what I mean? Until then, it wasn't even like believable, like, for my life until then. And I wasn't in a position to have any of that. I really wanted to move forward in my relationship. I wanted to begin like really showing up in my relationship in ways that I felt like I hadn't been. I was just in the expectation of, I wanted to be molded and I wanted to be shaped, into who I needed to be in that relationship, the wife that I needed to be for my husband, the mother that I needed to be for my child. And that is why I decided to fast. I just knew that I didn't embody that at the time. I knew I couldn't show up as that person at the time. There was major work that I needed to do on and within myself in order to be able to do that. And yeah, that fast was like the turning point in my relationship, but not in the way that I expected it to be. Everything that I was in expectation for in reference to my relationship, the opposite happened. I don't know if, listen, mosquitoes. I don't know if I thought that after that fast, something was just gonna like hit me, and I was just gonna like turn and like, I don't know what I was thinking, but we actually grew apart after my fast. I kind of don't think that I communicated well why this fast was so necessary for me. I definitely did not like have everything that I just said. I didn't have that conversation. I didn't have that conversation. I honestly don't know what I could have or like should have done differently besides that, like really communicated everything that I was feeling, everything that I was going through at the time. I think I just kind of hit him with wham bam when I started, because I fasted more than food, if you know what I mean. So the fast didn't just affect me, it affected him too. But I don't know, like everything was fine seemingly during the fast. Seemingly, you know, like I tried to, I'm sorry, I'm like getting bit up. I'm trying to give y'all, it's getting dark out here. I feel like I tried to communicate with him. I tried to like make sure that he was okay like during the fast, because I did kind of like drift. I don't, you know, I guess I didn't really have like the balance that I needed to have. I didn't have the balance that I needed to have while fasting. And maybe there was just like ways that he was feeling that he didn't mention to me. I don't know. After the fast, things were just different, which obviously hurt because of the reasons I fasted in the first place. I fasted because I wanted us to grow closer together. I fasted because I knew that I needed to show up more and better in the relationship. I thought I was doing all the right things, but 3 months after the fast, I was no longer in a relationship and was headed back to New York. I want to say that this is where like my seasons changed, like that transition. I walked out of my wilderness season and into my waiting season, or I call it my pruning season. So yeah, it's like my relationship died pretty much. Maybe it'll get resurrected. Can't speak for Jesus, but yeah, it's like my relationship died, but part of my purpose and like my identity was birthed in that transition. I got back to New York and immediately things began to shift in a great way. That's where It Was Written, the project came to fruition, and that's where or when like the me that I am today started showing up. That transition was definitely bittersweet, because it hurt and helped me almost like equally the same. But I am so ready and open for this new season. Listen, I never thought that I would get out of the wilderness season, to be honest. I have no idea what this pruning season holds, but I'm being held down by the word for sure. And I have a couple of scriptures that I'm meditating on for this particular season in my life, and I'll put them in the description box for you guys to check out. But yeah, listen, my heart still a little bit achy. It's achy and it ain't breaky no more. It's just achy now. But I know that I did the best thing for us. I know that I did the best thing just like for that time in my life. I don't know if I necessarily went about it the right way, but what you gonna do? What can you do now? I strongly believe that a lot of times separation is needed for preparation, and I also strongly believe that after the prep, I'm gonna be in a position to like really put in this work. I think that even I'm gonna look at myself like, who am I even right now? And I think that that's a beautiful thing. But for now, I guess we'll all just have to stay tuned. I want to thank you guys for holding me down while I had to take a little breather, a little relax, relate, release. Hopefully I'm back like I never left. I feel back like I never left. I feel amazing. And I'm just happy to be back recording and just with more content. Hopefully I brought that fire today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share with a friend, and also stay tuned for, I think I found my zone. So this park is so awesome. I have a really dope idea for like a little studio that I'm gonna not build, but like kind of like make for myself out here, similar to like the setup I had in New York, but like outdoors. So I'm actually kind of excited about that, so stay tuned for that. That's gonna be super cool. Thanks again for watching, yo. I'll see you guys next week.